Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome in. My name is Matt Stryker, and I am excited for our Yankees latest. All right, let's kick things off. The winter meetings are upon us. Let's go right now. Comment down below. Let me know how excited you are. Let me know the only way that these meetings would be a win for you. Is it a must-have Cody Bellinger? Can we get Kyle Tucker? Are we going to make the Tarik Skubal deal? Are you looking for signings over trades? Let me know. Let's get the conversation going. Will you be heartbroken if we don't sign Bellinger or Tucker? Because keep in mind, that may very well be the case. I'm so sorry to break that news to you folks, but I think that we're going to have a less than sensational winter meetings because I think normally free spending clubs are going to be very cautious this year. I think it's due to the impending, at the very least, labor disagreement coming in 2027, and that could mean more trades than signings because the general managers are businessmen. They're not going to want to commit a ton of money to players for games that may or may not be played. And I think that I point to the Cedric Mullins deal. If you didn't hear, he signs 1 year, $7 million with Tampa. Right? That's right there, the first shot. That's a take the money and run deal by a player that knows what's going on. And I think Tucker will get his money. I think he gets it from Toronto. I think if the Yanks offer Bellinger something good on the other side, the players know that they want to take their money, whereas the same way the general managers don't want to spend too much money. The Yanks could do that. But if those two things don't happen, then we're in the business of reasonable team-friendly deals and hope that free agents bite. Also, outside of Kyle Tucker, the other Kyle is Kyle Schwarber. He's 32 years old. He wants 5 years on his deal. So the market for hitters is becoming prohibitive, and it can only get worse depending on, I think Tucker's the first to sign, depending on what he commands. So I'm going to turn an eye on the starting pitching market because at least I have a better understanding because Dylan Cease is signed. So for me, Framber Valdez is the next guy off the board, or at least he should be. Comment down below. I think Framber is the elite of the class. And I want to keep an eye on Baltimore. Not only are they in division, but General Manager Mike Elias knows after last year's debacle that the O's have to do something. And the Orioles have been attached to Framber Valdez. So if Baltimore adds Framber Valdez, and Toronto has already added Dylan Cease and Cody Ponce, then the Yankees need to trade for Tarik Skubal. I mean, what else can I say? Who, by the way, Tarik Skubal will hit the market as the highest paid pitcher ever and ever and ever and ever. So whomever does get him in a trade, if they do, they need to be able to re-sign him to something that is more attractive than what Tarik Skubal and his agent feels is his potential on the open market. But there is also the impending labor disagreement. I don't want to use the S word, but that is there. But you do know who Tarik Skubal's agent is, don't you? Well, it's Scott Boras. And Scott Boras also represents Cody Bellinger. So let's have this conversation. Cody James Bellinger, everybody says we have to have him back. That's the want. And there's the reality is right now we don't have him. So let's explore both worlds. We'll do one with and one without Belly. Let's Minecraft this thing, okay? First is the overworld. This is the one with Bellinger. What you're getting is a guy with outfield first base eligibility, hit 270 plus, 29 home runs, 98 RBIs, stole 13 bases, a well below average strikeout percentage, slots in the lineup providing protection, Aaron Judge. Defensively, gave us 79 games in left, 50 in right, 39 in center. He's a great corner outfielder with an absolute gun. 4 games at first base. He'll assume a contract of 33 plus at the very least, 33 million plus a year over at least 5 or 6 years. But what you're getting with that is continuity, versatility, production, defense, and a lot of people say it's an absolute must. There are others that say that it ties us to a player that only gets older, and that's the thing. So let's build a portal and enter the netherworld and look at a world without Cody Bellinger, okay? So first thing that comes to mind is promote from within. Do we look at an outfield that has some combination of Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez? Well, if we're trying to fill a Bellinger-sized hole, I'm not so certain how we're going to do it with those two guys. Belly brings a 270-plus average. This is in a league where 248 is the average, and it hurts me to say that. It's in a league where only 40 players hit over 270 last season. So Bellinger's average is going to be very hard to replicate. No disrespect to Spencer Jones, but he has holes in his swing. He's not going to sniff 270. He has elite power and speed, but he strikes out way too much. Jason Dominguez also he'll swipe his share, hit his home runs, but what's he going to hit, 250? Tell me I'm wrong. So even combined in a perfect world, Jones and Dominguez can fill some of the holes, but the strikeouts and the 20 points in average is just too much. If Belly and Tucker sign, then where do you put Dominguez and Jones? We can talk trades in another episode. But I think we need to look at reasonably priced alternatives, and we have to be happy with them should Bellinger not come home. Austin Hayes is a career 260 hitter. He's only 30 years old, 15 home runs, primarily a left fielder, does strike out a lot. I get it. And maybe you're right. You'd rather have Spencer Jones than Austin Hayes. Fine. J.J. Bleday, it's only 28 years old, something to consider, and also just a fine baseball man, if you will. Lane Thomas is 30. He's a career 240 hitter, double-digit home runs. And as we speak this stuff out loud, it seems clear that bringing back Bellinger with Grisham already in, which I just think really made things difficult, if I'm being nice. But either way, it's a devil we know versus a devil we don't kind of situation, and I think that's the most important thing. But with the winter meetings, anything can happen, so let's put on our thinking caps, our prediction caps, if you will, and let's make some predictions. Let's have some fun with this. I'll give mine, you give yours down below, and let's just have fun with it, because you never know. Sometimes these things hit. I think Kyle Schwarber goes back to Philly. I do. I know it's meh, but either that or he goes to Cincinnati, which they're fun already, but that makes them very, very fun. I think Cody Bellinger comes back here to the Yankees. I really do. I think it's going to be a smart deal for both the player and the team, and I think that they're committed to winning. Kyle Tucker, I think, goes to Toronto, as much as it pains me to say it. Pete Alonso goes to Boston, as much as it pains me to say it. And what Boston has been doing lately is scary. They're working from a position of strength as opposed to money. They're using trades and prospects. They did the Johan Oviedo trade and the Sonny Gray deal. They're going to be a very tough opponent. All right, I want to hear from you. Tell me, I've heard Teoscar Hernandez's name. Do you think he gets traded? If so, where? Mackenzie Gore, if so, where? C.J. Abrams, Freddie Peralta, Brendan Donovan. There's also Luis Robert out there. So let's hear. Let's get this conversation going, because it's a fun time to be a fan. All right, now we transition to making the case for Framber Valdez. And this is where we get serious. I think Framber Valdez is a top-tier 32-year-old and under starting pitcher. The next guy on the list would be Ranger Suarez. I'll put maybe Imai there, Michael King. And then there's a next tier, and that features a guy like Zach Gallen, who's attached to the Cubs, Zach Littell, Zach Eflin. You have to be named Zach to be in that tier. Then there's also Lucas Giolito and Aaron Savali as well. But let's start with, if we're going shopping, let's start with the elite. Let's start with Framber Valdez. Assume this is a guy that's going to command $30+ million a year over, at the very least, 6 years. What you're getting is a lefty ground ball machine, a throwback pitcher. He's durable, and the Yanks could spend this money and no one would fault them, because then in a short series you'd be throwing Cole, Fried, and Valdez. Yes, please, in a perfect world. If that doesn't happen, the pivot could go to Imai. Again, comment down below. How do we pronounce that thing here? But that's Imai. He's 27 years old. That's the big difference here. He'll command about $23 million a year, maybe over 5 or 6. But there's also that posting fee of about $22 million. So already we're looking at $49-50 million just before you put pen to even paper. But you will get a young guy for the rest of his 20s, so you have him in his prime, and that's enticing. Now, before we get to the final A's, I'd like to give an under-the-radar option. I just think there's so many advancements in medicine and athletics and stuff that when these guys have like reconstructive surgery and Tommy John surgery, I think it really is a new lease on a career. Lucas Giolito's 31 years old. 2 years, maybe he wants $43 million over the 2 years. You can negotiate that down. He pitched to a 3.4 ERA over 145 innings last year. He had surgically repaired right elbow, right? That's his deal. So now I think he's bionic. I think he can provide middle of the rotation depth. You get him at a discounted price. But overall, I think left-handed starting makes sense for the Yankees. I think Valdez would be great in a short series, like I said, against a team like Toronto, if they would throw Cease and Bieber and Ponce and Savia, oh my gosh, or Detroit. And I think they keep Tariq Skubal, but if they do these things, the Yankees are going to have pitching to get them to wherever they want to get, and that's to the World Series. And on the road to the World Series, we'll be here every step of the way. My name is Matt Striker. I'll learn how to talk, I promise, next time on Yankees Latest.